Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to my craft room. My name is Tina Bickford. How is everyone this morning? If you're watching live, leave me a comment and let me know where you are watching from. So, my name is Tina Bickford. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! Here in the US. I am located in southern New Hampshire. Good morning. Oklahoma in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Lisa from North Carolina. So yesterday I did the craft fair. Oh my gosh, you guys, I was super stressed about it because it was technically my first craft fair. It was pretty big. Good morning, Jane from Florida. Welcome. Welcome. And Kathy from Illinois. And Mom, Dad. Morning, Dad. You're my favorite. Mom. So, love you, Mom. So I did the craft fair yesterday and it was fun. I was very stressed about it because it was my first one, but it was super fun. It was great. So my friend Luann was supposed to help me with the craft fair, but she got sick. So all of you guys who are on, if you can, I know she's not watching right now because she is still not feeling well. So if you can all send her some good healing wishes and send her some love, I would appreciate that. So Luann, get well soon. Good morning, Anne from Vermont and Saskatchewan, Canada in the house. Thank you so much for joining. So yeah, I had a really fun time. I met two amazing women who actually sat across the hall from me, and they really made it was fun. They were real firecrackers. They were. So we had a great time. It was a lot though. I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot. I was pretty exhausted by the end of the day. So between setup and the whole day and then breaking everything down and then carrying everything back into the house and up 2 flights of stairs and putting everything back, and it was a lot. It was a lot, but I will absolutely do more because it was fun. So it was good. It was good. So yeah. So last week we did a box. It was super fun. And I thought I would be able to do another box, but I didn't have a chance to actually put all of that together. So what I'm thinking is that I'm probably going to pre-record a video with that box. I'm going to try to pre-record the video on Wednesday. So today I thought we would do oh, thank you, Sandra, for sending Luann some well wishes. Today I thought we would do another little fun project. It's not a card, but a little fun project because Thanksgiving is coming up, and hopefully we're able to have people gather at our tables, and we're going to need to tell people where to sit at our table. So I thought that we would do little, name tag place settings for the people that we have sitting at our tables for Thanksgiving. So we're going to do those today. And yeah, so, I also, I've just forgot, so many things just happened at the craft fair yesterday. I had the opportunity to speak to so many fabulous people, like the shoppers that came in, women that just came up and saw my cards and could just looked at the cards and could appreciate how much work and talent and time that just went into the cards, and you know, just to be acknowledged for how much creativity and, you know, it was very nice for people to say nice things about, you know, the things that I do. But it was also really nice to talk to other card makers who, you know, they make their own cards, and for them to you know, say wow about the cards that I make. I'd like, what a great feeling. So yeah, absolutely felt great to do that craft fair yesterday. So, all right. So I'm going to set my coffee down so I don't spill it all over everything. And I am going to switch down to the desk camera. When I find the button. Here is the button. Okay, here we are. So one of the things that kind of made me think to do this project today is when I was at the craft fair yesterday, I did have an opportunity to speak to several people about paper pumpkins, the paper pumpkin kits. I actually took this is October's paper pumpkin kit, and I actually took this with me to the craft fair in case, you know, it wasn't busy and I had a chance to just sit and work on some projects. So I just figured I would bring this with me. But it was busy enough that I didn't have a chance to work on any part of it. But I'm glad I brought it because I had an opportunity to speak to some people about it. Because literally, with any of the Stampin' Up! Kits, if you want to make cards, you get everything you need right in this box. Right in this box. You don't need anything else. So I thought I would do, and you guys know I've done different, with not just the paper pumpkin kits, but with also other kits that that they sell. Good morning, Aunt Judy. Please tell Vinton I am so sorry that I did not make it to see his show last night. I was exhausted after the craft fair last night. So anyway, with the paper pumpkins and the other kits, you always get you get everything that you need to make cards. Everything that you need. With the paper pumpkin, it's a subscription so that you can actually do a month-to-month subscription. You can do prepaid. It's a wonderful. I love the kits. But I always try to do alternates with the kits, not always just straightforward by the instructions. And I always end up with like all of the envelopes left over. And I had a bunch of envelopes left over from the previous kit. Let me just grab that. I gave the box away because I always give my boxes away to my niece who uses the boxes to ship stuff that she makes. But I had this kit. Sorry, this is the September Fall for Twall kit. And I thought, so I still had all of I have a bunch of different pieces left to it because I didn't finish it. But I had all of the envelopes still. I hadn't touched the envelopes. So I thought, I really should do something with it. I still have envelopes left from other kits. So I thought I'm going to do something with these envelopes. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to make some placeholder, name placeholder, what do you call them? For the Thanksgiving table from envelopes. And we're going to do, so I'm going to actually show you how to do, I'll have the samples to show you. We're going to make one for Thanksgiving, and I'm actually going to make one for Christmas so that we'll have a sample for each one, because those are the two holidays coming up where we're going to have people gathered at our tables, right? So these were the envelopes that came with that Fall for Twall paper pumpkin kit. Those three colors, the Cajun Craze and the oh Lord help me, crumb cake and the pumpkin pie, or timid tiger. I can't remember which one that was. So if you can't remember what your colors are in your kits, you can always, in this paper, in the instructions, if you look on the back, it's going to tell you what all of the colors are. So Cajun Craze, crumb cake, and it's got all of the other colors from all of the other bits and pieces in there, but it's telling me that it is timid tiger. So there's no pumpkin pie listed. It's timid tiger. So this is the timid tiger. Okay. So I have already made a couple using the timid tiger. So I'm going to actually make a couple using the, yeah, let's do the Cajun Craze. All right. Grab that one. And my bone folder. All right, so what I did, I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. Now I don't need the whole envelope, and I'm going to do some cutting and some scoring. Mostly when I'm doing the scoring, I don't want double thick layers here because it does make for wonky folding when you're scoring. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off all of these ends. And I'm just going to line that up, the scored or the folded edge here. I'm going to line it up with just where my the dark edge of my cutting track, because I'm just going to cut that very, very edge off. It ends up being just 1/16 of a piece that I'm cutting off. Good morning, Aunt Shelley. Good morning. I'm just going to flip the envelope over, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. And pardon me, I apparently need a new blade in here. So I'm just going to cut all of those little edges off. So what you'll end up with is just basically you're cutting this back piece off and you get this, okay? So I am going to score this. Now the way that when I did this setup, the first sample that I did, all I really did, honestly, I took this where this is already scored here. All I did was I took that and I lined it up at the 2-inch mark, and you can see the 2-inch mark down here also. I just lined it up there. It doesn't have to be exact. You can flip it over this way, and if it's easier for you to see it this way. And I just scored it. That's all I did. I didn't get real exact about it. Now, if you only have a few people coming to your dinner, your table, you can use a full envelope for each one, and it can just be like this. Okay, and you can just do it this way. If you have a lot of people coming to your table, you can use one envelope to make two, which is actually what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it in half, but before I cut it in half, I have to know where is half. Now you can do the easy way and cheat. You could just kind of fold this in half and make a little, like I did the first time, make a little like this, or you can measure it and find that middle point. You know, these aren't going to last forever. These aren't, they're not meant to last forever. So I'm just going to come in here where my little mark is, my little fold, and I'm going to just cut it right in half. So now I have two. And again, I will have to change that blade out, but they are not handy right now. So I've got a lot of little fuzzies there. All right. So we now have two, and they're basically they're going to go like this. Okay. Now I did, because, I cheat with stuff when I'm making things I want to make real quick. I went through already and I printed out some names on my computer. If you have really nice handwriting, I did a couple. I mean, I did one with my handwriting. And I'll do, when I do the Christmas one, I will do, I can do that one with my handwriting so that you can see. You can do them with your handwriting. It doesn't have to be, on a computer. These ones I did on a computer. I just thought I thought they looked more professional than my handwriting. So you are going to make sure that you burnish those score lines really, really well, because you want these things to stand up. So I just went through, these are the names that I just printed them out on my computer and I cut them out. And I do this, I am comfortable with Microsoft Excel, so I do it in a spreadsheet and I print them out. If you are comfortable in Microsoft Word or Excel or any other program, Canva, anything that you are comfortable with to do that, then use what you're comfortable with. This is just what I'm comfortable with. So I'm going to just take these name tags, and all I did was I cut them to size so that they would be just slightly more narrow than what my placeholder is. And I am going to look for my dimensionals, which were hiding in plain sight. So I'm just going to put dimensionals on the back. I didn't place that one very well. Put those on the back like so. And these, I mean, they go together really quick. I do have some the samples that I have to show you. You can make them as difficult as you want, or you can make them as easy as you want. And if you don't have envelopes, the Christmas one that I'm going to show you, I didn't use an envelope for. I'm going to show you how to do it if you don't have an envelope. This is just a really good way if you have those decorative envelopes. It's a really good way to use them up. All right, so I'm just going to place this. I put my dimensionals on the back, and I'm going to place this on the bottom. I'm going to just come up, maybe leave, I don't know, between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch, whatever you're comfortable with. And you're going to, center it from side to side or somewhere near, wherever you're comfortable, wherever you want to put it. Just like that. We do the same thing for mine. For those of you who don't know, by the way, Brent is actually my husband. That is his name. And my husband actually helped me at the craft fair yesterday. He helped me set up and tear down, and he was kind enough to stay there with me for a good part of the show. There. All right. So both of our names there like that. And I found that I did, because this is it's an envelope. So it's very flimsy paper. It's very thin paper. So it's, the thickness of like a copy paper. So I just kept burnishing this one back score, because that's the one that's going to help it stand. So this is now going to tuck into that. Let me show you that on the side. That will tuck into that so that will stand like so for both of those. Okay. Now for these, I wanted to, this looks pretty, it's fancy enough if you were going with that, because the envelope flap is pretty fancy, but I wanted to, fancy mine up a little bit more. So I am going to grab some stuff, just set those aside. So I'm just going to grab this 3 colors of cardstock, and I'm just going to grab some scraps from them. I'm grabbing Mossy Meadow, Crumb Cake, and Pecan Pie. I am also going to grab from the paper pumpkins. There are also like add-on dies that you can get that coordinate with your paper pumpkins. This one right here is called the Circle of Season dies. So this one actually coordinated with the which one was it? Was it the June, July, August? It was the one with the strawberries and all of that. So you can see like the strawberry dies, the die that says hello, but it's also got an acorn cap, and a leaf, which are the three that I'm going to be using. And I'm just going to pull just a couple of scraps out of here so that I can, and it, like you can see, this is just literally a scrap piece of paper. I am just going to pull some scraps out. Just a scrap. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I can use that one. Scrap. And I'm just going to cut, I'm going to make two acorns and 2 caps and 2 leaves. And this will be enough to do all of that. So pull this out of the way. I just brushed garbage onto my floor. Mom, I just brushed garbage onto my floor. All right, so I'm just going to pull in my cut and emboss machine, and I am going to use because we're using dies, base plate 1, thin die adapter 2. I'm going to use you're going to use both number 3 cutting plates. So I put my first number 3 cutting plate down, then we're going to put our cardstock and just put all 3 of those on there. Load our dies on here, and because my cutting plate with all of the marks on it is on the bottom, I want to make sure that my dies, the cutting edge of my die, is face down. Put the leaf there, and I'm not worried about using Post-its. These pieces of cardstock are plenty big enough if the dies move around a little bit while I'm rolling this through. And then put my last cutting plate on there. And roll that through. Pardon my arm. Okay, oops. Do that. And I take your pick tool. Just grab my take your pick tool, and I'm just gonna release that from the die. Wait until you see how cute this. Look how cute that acorn cap is. Super cute. All right, I'm just gonna cut this last acorn off camera. You guys don't need to see me do that, and then I can leave the mess right off camera. Here. Okay. All right, so there is my other acorn. I'm going to do that. And my leaf actually moved, so I need to cut the leaf again. I got to poke that out. Sorry about that. All right, don't do that. Oh, Lordy. All right. Do it right, Tina. Do it right or do it twice. You know? And there. All right. So grab the take your pick again. Let's just get that leaf out. and our acorn cap, like so. Perfect. We'll set those dies aside. And there, and there, and good morning from Oregon. And Lynn is in New Jersey, and she is going to watch the replay, which is perfectly fine. That is what the videos are for. All right, so we are going to put these acorns together. So I'm just going to grab my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm just going to put just a very thin line up at the top. And I'm putting a very thin line up at the top because there are cuts in, these are actual cuts that are in there. They're not, it's not scored, it's or embossed, they are cuts. So I do want to make sure that I'm just using a thin line because I don't want that glue to goop out of there. I'm just going to put that on nice and gentle. Let that glue take hold. Stinking cute are those acorns. Seriously. Just with that. Just cute little acorns. And then I'm going to flip the leaves over. I made a couple of these earlier to put on my other cards, and I was chuckling at how cute they are. Super cute. And just putting a tiny, tiny drop of glue on there because these, when I put these on, I'm probably going to put the leaves on. When I put them on, they'll be held on also with a little bit of a little piece of like a mini dimensional or something on the placeholder card. So I'm not really worried about them sticking on, you know, that little piece of glue is the only thing that's going to be holding it onto the acorn. So I just made 2 acorns, and I did put the leaves going in different directions, and you'll see why, because where'd they go? Right here. Because when we cut the envelope in half, they're actually going in different directions. So I'm going to put the acorns on the straight side. So, and I want the leaves to overhang a little bit. So I want to put I just want just like the very edge of the acorn, I mean the leaf to overhang so that some of it is being held on with a dimensional. But obviously, if the leaves are going the same way, they won't overhang. So I'm just going to be doing that. And I'm going to use mini dimensionals to do this. So grab my minis. That's the one that's going to go there. I'm going to put that there. Oops. And those there. That one there. Yep. A couple here and here. All right. So, oops, I still need that. And there. Now, because I don't want that, I want my leaf to overhang, but I don't want my dimensional to overhang. I'm going to just place my finger just like this so that I know where the edge of that dimensional is when I put this on. Now, when I put this on, I want to place the bottom of the acorn at the bottom of the envelope flap. That's going to help it. It's going to help it tuck into the bottom. Like so. Like that. So this will now tuck into that and become your placeholder on the table. It's not gonna, because of the angle that I'm holding it at to show you, it's obviously not gonna sit in there, but that is your placeholder, like that. I'll put this one on. See, staying perfectly fine when it's up, when it's sitting the way it's supposed to sit on the table. Peel those off. Do the same thing on this side. I'm just holding my finger so that I know where the edge of that is. Coming right down to the bottom and putting that on. And oops, this one needs a little bit of a press. And then that one is done also. So now you have two placeholders just like that for Thanksgiving. Let me show you the other two I did real quick for Thanksgiving. These were the ones that I did that were from the Timid Tiger. I did add one little other element from that Fall for Twall, that chocolate foil leaf. And because I did that and did that as the overhang, I didn't do that for the acorn. That one and that one. Super cute for those ones. Okay, I do have two others I want to show you for the Thanksgiving, but I'll show those ones to you after, because those ones have a little bit of a different element to them. All right, so let's just say you don't have an envelope, or let's just say, actually, I will show you that. Let me just show you that. This is, I'll just show you that, because that actually leads us into what we're going to make now. All right, let's just say what you have, because we all, where did it go? Oh my goodness, you guys. Found it. All right, so some of us only have these, like we all have these, right? We all have these envelopes instead of having those nice squared, you know, the straight envelopes with the nice rounded corners. We have these that are, you know, and you think, well, I can't do that. I can't have that, do that craft if I just have these. Not true. You absolutely can, because I did. And what if you only have just these plain, like this? I just have this plain vanilla envelope with the, you know, little pointed envelope flap. Well, what I did was I grabbed some of my, this is the, what's it called? The Autumn Twall Designer Series paper. This paper is gorgeous. I'm not a huge fan of autumn because I don't love the cold. I love the colors, but I don't love the cold. But like this paper is beautiful. This next one is my favorite. Look how gorgeous that is. Love it. Oh my goodness, love it. Love it, love it. Even the back, gorgeous. And then this one with the fox and that Cajun craze. So pretty. Love it, love it. So what I did though is I grabbed this piece right here with, you know, with the pheasant on it in that mossy meadow. And I decided that I was going to make some placeholders with that. So what I did, because again, this is really flimsy envelope paper, so I covered my envelope flap first with some of that Designer Series paper. No different than I would if I were doing the, you know, designing it to, you know, decorating it to send it out with, you know, to coordinate it with my card. You guys have all seen that done. So I did that first. And then I came in and did the same exact thing that I did with all of the other stuff. I added the name and I added the acorn. So let me just show you that. This is how those look. Just like that. So I did exactly the same thing. Now, the fun part about this one is because you've got this slanted element to this placeholder, and I apologize, I don't have anything like any fun stuff, any candies or anything. I have this really gross keto gum in my house. This is the only like sweet. And I don't know where the other one went. I had two of them. Oh, that's probably what fell. It probably fell in my trash, which is honestly where it belongs. Okay. So so I thought when it's sitting on the table like this, right? And I would do something like with a like a Hershey's Kiss maybe or something that you could actually put a little like sweet treat for after dinner or something in their placeholder like that. I thought that would be, or something, you know, like for Thanksgiving, some fall themed candy in there for after dinner. I thought that would look really, really cute in there with this opening. So I made this one using the envelope because I wanted to prove that I could use, you know, an envelope that had this style to it. Now with the um, October paper pumpkin that I just showed you, this is the envelope that comes with that. So we're talking about that style envelope there. So you could use your October paper pumpkin envelopes to do exactly this. But then I thought, well, you know, the other thing with these envelopes is look how gorgeous that paper is. That would literally be on the back and the bottom of this. And I don't know that I would want to do that. So I said, all right, we got to make one of these, but we're going to do it using cardstock instead of an envelope because people may not want to use their envelopes for those really fancy envelopes for that. So let's just do one that's not using an envelope. So envelopes, and we're going to use one. We're going to make one that's not using an envelope. So I'm just going to, oh, there it is. So I'm just gonna pull out some plain white cardstock, and I'm gonna tell you what the dimensions are for this. I gotta measure it again because I was just winging it this morning. This is where just my thoughts went this morning. I was honestly, these things, and this is why they get everywhere, these little backings to the dimensionals, because I just wing them on the floor. So my thought this morning started with that, with the envelope, with just the single envelope, making one. And then I thought, well, if somebody has a lot of people coming to Thanksgiving dinner, that's not going to work because they won't have enough envelopes. So cut them in half. So my thought went there. And then I thought, well, what if somebody just has plain envelopes? And then I thought, well, what if somebody has plain envelopes, but it's that pointed envelope flap? And then I thought, well, what if somebody has no envelopes at all? So that's where my thought went. But when I went there, I really liked the whole idea of putting like a little Hershey's Kiss or something in that name placeholder. So that's how I designed this one. All right, so this one, oh, I did write the measurements down. I'm like ahead of myself here. Okay, the measurements for this piece right here is 2 1/4 inch by 6 7/8 inch. Super, super easy. And the only thing that we're going to do to this, I'm pulling my trimmer, and we are going to score this along that 6 7/8 inches. We are going to score it at 2.5 inches and then 4.5 inches. Easy peasy. And then we're going to make one cut, and I'm going to make this cut so easy. Like I'm not measuring anything here. I'm not doing any of that. So all I'm doing is on this edge where I measured and scored down to the 2.5, I'm going to just rotate this, and I'm going to take this corner here, and I'm going to put that up on that I'm going to put that corner right there on this side of my trimmer. I'm going to put that right up on the 1/2 inch mark. And then I'm going to put my 2.5 inch score line that's right here. And let me just see if I can, I'm going to try to zoom in on this so you guys can see this, because I'm making it super easy, but I want you to be able to see it. So let me edit that and zoom in. And am I within the camera right there? All right. So this is where I took this along that 6 7/8 and I scored it at 2.5 and then again at 4.5. So then I'm just taking this corner right here and I'm moving that corner over here. I'm putting that corner at that 1/2 inch mark right there. And then I'm taking my score line, my 2.5 inch score line, and I'm lining it right up in that cutting track. That's all I'm doing. So I'm using my little trick. I'm taking my finger and I'm holding my corner right on that 1/2 inch mark, and I'm rotating my paper until that score line goes right into that cutting track. Just like that. It does not have to be exact. None of this has to be exact. So I'm just going to come in here, hold it, trim it. That's all I'm going to do. So now you have, let me just zoom back out. Now you have this. Okay. So this is it. Oh, did I zoom out too much? I zoomed out too much. I am so sorry. Honestly. Zoom back in. There you guys. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay. Now, we know that we started with 2 1/4 and we scored down at 2.5. So we're just going to take a piece of designer series paper, whichever color designer series paper you want, and we're going to cut a piece that's 2 1/4 by 2.5. So I chose my Peaceful, what is this one? Peaceful Garden. And for the one that I already made, I chose this piece right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab that one. So I have matchy. And I am going to cut at 2 1/4 by 2.5. It's that easy. Now I'm going to take this piece right here and I'm going to get as close as I can to all of the edges here. And then I'm going to also put some adhesive in the middle. I want to make sure that this panel is going to adhere very well. Don't get too carried away with your glue on the edges though. You don't want it to seep out and get all over the place. So there. All right. We're going to take our piece and we're going to just line it up with that score line. Then I flipped mine over so that I could make sure that it wasn't, so that it was lined up here and here. It was a little bit easier for me to see on the back side there. Make sure all of that's all lined up. Just gentle press there. Then I just took my scissors and I trimmed straight down that line. And then we have, all right. So I'm just going to flip this over so that I can fold and burnish both of these. Like so. And then I have my this little piece here, which all I did was this I didn't measure. So this is just a 1/2 inch by 2 inches. And this is the one where you guys are going to see how terrible my handwriting is. So I'm just pulling, a silver gel pen, Uniball. What is it? Uniball. I just got it at my local office store. And that's all I did was just write the name that you want on there. This takes just a minute to dry. So while that's drying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my, you guys could see the mess I have on the office chair beside my desk. It's embarrassing. All right, I am going to grab my Peace on Earth dies. I'm going to take one of these doves. I'm going to take, yeah, I'll do this one. Now, when you're doing these, when you're doing the ones that you're making, when you're making out of cardstock yourself, unlike the ones that you're making out of the envelopes, they don't have to be opposite each other. You can make them all exactly the same, which is what I'm doing with this one. This one is in the exact same direction. I keep going off the camera. This one is in the exact same direction as the other one that I made. If you want, you can act like, if you have 6 people around the table, you can actually alternate them if you know which way that they're going to sit, so that you can have one angled this way, the other angled that way. All you have to do is just, when you can still cut them all the same way, but when you're ready to fold and burnish, just fold it this way. Put your designer series paper on this side and do it this way. That's all you have to do. So you don't have to actually change anything that you're doing other than putting your designer series paper on the other side. All right. So I'm going to actually cut one of these doves. I'm going to go ahead and do it off camera so that I don't have to mess around bringing that cutting machine in. Oh. Good thing I had my chair there. That die landed on the chair and not the floor. Okay, so we have our dove, and I am going to grab my dimensionals. I'm just going to grab one, and I'm going to put that right about there, just like that. Now this guy, grab my dimensionals here. And you can have your name, your little name tag. I did a 1/2 inch because that's enough of a width for these regular size dimensionals without having to cut them. But you can have it, and you can have it wider if you want. It's up to you. So there's that and that. Give this another good press because I was just folding it. I was folding it the other direction. So I'm going to give both of those another good press. And there we go. There is our name placeholder. So I will write in. This is the one I did for my husband. So those are the two. So for Christmas there, and same thing, like you can put like a little, Hershey's Kiss in there, or, put like your little, so I think it would look perfect with a little Hershey's Kiss, because it would be standing upright like that. So a little Hershey's Kiss in there would be like perfect, I think. So that's that. Don't put gross keto gum in, keto peppermint gum, because then, people aren't coming back to your house for Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's for sure. All right, so here are, I'm just going to put them like this. You guys can see them a little bit if I do it this way. So I'll put those ones there. And then we did, so So these are the ones. These are the ones we made. Put them this way. These are the ones we made here. These are the ones I made earlier. These are the ones for Thanksgiving. And then these are the ones that I made out of that envelope that is the pointed flap envelope, like so. So I hope those look fun, don't they? I keep thinking that I found the other piece of gum, but it's the same piece of gum that just keeps like showing up everywhere. All right, I'm going to go ahead and flip that camera back to me. Ooh, hair in my face. Such a mess. So I hope that you guys liked this project. It was fun to kind of come up with something different with the envelopes. It's always kind of a challenge to come up with something to do with the envelopes. You know, especially the decorative ones. I hate to use them just for envelopes sometimes when you can, you know, use them for a project. You know, this would make such a gorgeous. Can you imagine oh, what did I do with them? These. Can you imagine having on your Christmas table, having the place setting for your guest with one of these, you know, the boxes that we made yesterday. I mean, how super cute. And these were really easy to make too. So this would make beautiful, and you could make, especially because we have that the autumn TOILE design series paper, you could make matching boxes for your Thanksgiving table as well with those. Yeah. So I hope you liked those ones. I'm going to try to pre-record a video that will air next Sunday, because I will be in South Carolina for my daughter's wedding. My daughter is getting married on Saturday. So we will be in South Carolina. I won't be going live next Sunday, but I would like to at least have a video for you all. So I'm going to try to do that on Wednesday. And yeah, so I hope that you all have a great week. I will be back live on the following Sunday. I don't know what the date is. The following Sunday, 2 weeks from today. And I hope that you'll all join me there. I hope that you come back on next Sunday, and at least watch the video that I pre-record for you. I'm sure it'll be something great. I don't know what it is yet. And yeah. So have a great week, everyone. And we'll see you next week. I'll see you live in 2 weeks.